Hey guys, EvilDD here. This time it's another critical commentary from me. This one's going to be a bit more critical and less of a shoutcast. It's from HowtheHare from Fever Clan against his opponent Johnny5, the Protoss. This is on Xel'Naga Caverns, two-player map. I will be... As you can see, it's quite a long game, but there are some parts where not much goes on, so I will be fast forwarding those parts, and like I said, I will try to make this as critical as possible because there are lots of mistakes being made which need to be rectified, rather, in order to enable a much larger success in winning games. I will also point out the good things HowtheHare does, of course, and so far standard things going on. Gateway down a bit early for the Protoss on 11, can get it on 12, maybe even 13. Maybe he was afraid of the 6 pool, but then again, it's quite a long rush distance on this map, so really he could have gotten that gateway a bit later. HowtheHare scouting the long way, maybe checking for proxy pylons. Quite good, I like that. Journey 5 waiting for that drone to come for the expansion. 15 pool going down, however no gas yet, and now HowtheHare is chasing this probe. I don't see a reason why he's doing that. He maybe should have gotten that expansion if he wanted to get it, or just gotten gas. He really needs that gas against Protoss players too, so he can tech up and get much better units than just Zergling's pylon going down here. That will prevent this expansion from going down. And we have a gas steal here as well by HowtheHare. Quite standard. See a gas steal from Johnny 5, almost a double gas steal, but yeah, like I said, he really should have gotten that gas much earlier, when maybe when he put down that spawning pool as well, or maybe one supply after. But that will set him back in the gas, definitely. So far, standard, queen out. Roach Warren, okay, this placement of the Roach Warren, I have to say, is quite bad. I'm just gonna pause the game a bit because he can see that. His opponent can see that. If you put down, for example, here, it could have stayed hidden, but this is basically free scouting information given away. I do like these Overlord placements. This way he scouts this area, he scouts anything that goes by here, he's gonna scout any air units if they try to go past. Right now he's focused on getting this assimilator down so he can get, and this pylon down so he can get expansion and that second gas. So far a bit unfocused play, I have to say, by the Protoss player in terms of his game plan. I don't think he knows exactly what he wants to do. He's getting, like I said, a typical mistake. You know, players just tend to put down random buildings at random times. You really need to get a good plan, a good focus on what you want to do in the mid game, and then to see what your options are in the late game. We see hidden expansion going down here by HowtheHare. This is quite good. I mean, he couldn't get that expansion early on here, so he opted to go for this one. He didn't go for this one because destructible rocks are still standing and he's not really in a position to break them down, although he could start working on them. Now he pokes up the ramp, good. You need to get scouting on. He sees that maybe some stalkers, he sees these zealots. Now he's gonna start poke again, or maybe this is just a miss micro, as this this roach really shouldn't have been taken out, and I don't see why he's pushing out, well, trying to push in. As you can see, lost 2 Zerglings, and this roach was taken down on, well, its HP was taken down quite a lot. But I was just saying, this hidden expansion is quite good, especially if his opponent lacks scouting abilities. So if this expansion is not being attacked, if the Protoss player is not aggressive enough, and if that expansion gets running, that will be very good for HowtheHare. However, again, very late gas. That second gas was very late. At 8 minutes, that's just too late. You really need to get that much sooner, so you can tech up and get those higher tech units. We see a fleet beacon. The Protoss player will be going for carriers. Very unusual, like I said, very unclear plan of what he's doing, and no expansion. His minerals are high, his gas is quite low, meaning he needs to get that expansion running so he can keep up with HowtheHare. Right now, yeah, he's ahead in economy a bit, but once these expansions start running, he will fall behind so much. Another solution is maybe he could be aggressive, but again, he doesn't really have that big of an army to be able to be aggressive. Hydrogen going down. This is quite good. It's good against gateway units. However, I just want to pause this game real quick for now. This is a big mistake that HowtheHare does, or something really he doesn't do, and that is scout. If we look at his view, he only scouted when he poked up that ramp. Then he sees 2 gateways, a cybercore, and that pylon, if I'm correct. Yes. However, now his opponent is going for carriers. Now, if he carrier rushed, he could be in big trouble. But like I said, the Protoss player has no clear idea, so he just got those carriers randomly. But he's kind of lucky that, okay, he put down that spore crawler as well for no reason. I mean, sure, right now the Protoss player is getting these carriers, which might prove, this spore crawler might prove effective, but this was just a random guess. You have to understand, and you can't random guess things in StarCraft 2. You have to, there's basically 2 ways of making sure you know what your opponent is doing. One of them is being extremely aggressive, and the other, and by being extremely aggressive, you are sort of limiting your opponent's possibilities, and he has to get one, he has to go for one kind of build or one kind of game plan in order to stay alive. So in that way, you're limiting his possibilities. Another way, okay, is scouting. Okay, you can't limit your opponent's possibilities, but you can see what he's doing and respond accordingly. Right now, what HowtheHare really needs, okay, Hydras, yes, they're good. Spore crawler, random, this is a waste of minerals and a waste of a drone. As you can see, his minerals, his macro is quite good, but since your macro is quite good, you don't want to waste those minerals. And if he just scouted his opponent, for example, with an overseer and a changeling, he could have seen everything that was in this base, and he could have just gone that spire and got those corruptors to respond accordingly to those carriers. And by the time those carriers come out, he will have a big enough corruptor number, so those carriers are pretty much useless. Another thing, okay, these overlord placements are, like I said, very good, but he really wants to make sure where his opponent is, so he really needs to put a Zergling over here. So he gets vision of the whole area of the watchtower. Put another Zergling here, and maybe even put a Zergling here or Overlord here, so he knows exactly what his opponent is doing when he's pushing out, when he's expanding. That way he has complete control over the game. Right now, well, okay, he might be dominating because his income's higher, he's up on expansions, and so on, but really, for example, if his opponent went some kind of crazy DT rush, he could be in a lot of trouble. Fortunately for him, his opponent isn't doing that kind of thing, but you don't want to take those kind of risks. So we see the Spire going down, another Spore Crawler, another waste of minerals, I have to say. However, also no speed upgrade and no upgrade for the roaches, no range upgrade for the hydras. You really want to get those upgrades if you're going to use those units, because those upgrades are essential, and these evolution chamber upgrades are quite essential as well. I mean, he has 3 base, he can afford these upgrades. And another mistake he does is, well, his multitasking isn't the best. His macro is quite good, but then he needs to also make a lot more drones. Right now he's on 33 on 3 bases, while his opponent's on 31 on 1 base. That really shouldn't be. He should be he should be on a much higher drone count, especially now. He might be trying to avoid to overdrone and then maybe get destroyed in one big push by the Protoss, but that's why you put those scouting you get those scouting positions. That's why you scout your opponent. You make sure how big his army is, you make sure what he's doing, so you can respond accordingly. And in this case, HowtheHare could have droned so hard and then just crushed his opponent really easily. Now, I'm gonna speed the game up a bit because nothing really important is going on. HowtheHare is getting his army up, so is Johnny 5, only on 1 base though. He's getting those carriers. Gold expansion going down for HowtheHare. I mean, this is also good. I'm just gonna pause the game for a bit. This is good. His opponent is turtling. He kind of sees that. At least he sees that his opponent isn't aggressive. He's not being attacked. He hasn't ever been attacked this game for 15 minutes. So, of course, he takes down the expansions. He has a lot of minerals. Sure, this is very good. He puts down those expansions, so maybe he can get ahead. I'm gonna slow the game down because we see some kind of we see a push by the Terran, by the Protoss. Sorry. Now, if you look at the army sizes, they're exactly the same. However, a Protoss army is a bit stronger than a Zerg's